everyone. My name is Leisha Jackson from FM Systems, and I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar, Maintain Control Over Your Facility Maintenance Program. During the presentation, the lines will be muted, but if you should have any questions, please enter them in the panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and we will answer them at the end. Today on the line, we have Brian Haynes, our Director of Marketing, and Rob Noren, our Applications Engineer. So Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Leisha. So I'm going to start off this webinar with just a couple of slides. The majority of the heavy lifting is going to be done by my partner in crime, Rob Noren, who's an application engineer here at FM Systems. He's going to be running through about a 20-minute demonstration of our maintenance capabilities. But I'll just go ahead and kick it off with letting you know a little bit about the way our software works and how our maintenance module has really been designed to help you improve equipment performance and reduce equipment and facility downtime, while also extending the operational life cycle of the equipment and assets in your organization, really across your entire portfolio. So the FM Interact maintenance module enables organizations to create, manage, and measure highly effective both corrective and preventive maintenance programs. So I want to be clear that it handles both of those, and Rob will show some of that, which can serve all of the facilities in your portfolio. It can help reduce costs by helping you efficiently manage your technicians who are out there in the field performing that maintenance, measure your performance against service level agreements, being able to see things such as real-time feedback when an SLA has not been met, et cetera, and then identifying underperforming areas across your portfolio through a powerful and fully web-based secure system that's part of the FM Interact suite. So let's just go ahead and go into some of the high-level capabilities of the FM Interact maintenance module. So it's really designed to help you work smarter. It's got a flexible set of tools, and I'm going to talk about this, and Rob will show this a little bit, but really the configurability of this product is unmatched in the marketplace. It allows you to be able to standardize your processes across your maintenance organization so that you have real control and consistency of not only your processes, but the data, drawings, et cetera, that are part of your maintenance processes. It allows you to provide better service by using automated workflows and notifications. You can allow your employees or your call centers, et cetera, to enter service request tickets and then to have those dispatched to technicians, all, once again, highly configurable, and we can match the workflows to the way your organization works. So that you can identify work and quickly respond, especially when you've got SLAs in place and your employees within your organization are expecting the service level, a really high level of service in terms of correcting issues within your facilities. This also can help reduce life cycle costs. So by being able to do things such as highly effective preventive maintenance scheduling and corrective maintenance, you're able to extend the operational life of your assets, all of your building assets, with powerful PM preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance tools. And then you can provide all stakeholders within the organization the ability to be able to do this. So your technicians, your employees, your maintenance supervisors, anybody within your organization who needs to be able to integrate with and affect the outcomes of your maintenance can be given access through a secure username and role-based security through a web browser. So some of the high-level capabilities, features, functions that go beyond just the maintenance capabilities itself are integrated reporting, which allows you to quickly run reports and access dashboards that compile, list, and analyze your data across all of your facilities. Rob is going to be spending some time showing off some of these capabilities. It's really powerful and very cool, this ability to be able to not only get a lot of standard reports out of the box and dashboards out of the box with our software, but also the ability for us to be able to, or we could teach you to actually create your own. Highly configurable workflows, so every organization works a little bit differently. We can configure those workflows, notifications, and forms that enable you to create your work order process that matches how your organization works. And last but not least, this is really what separates us, what separates actually IWMS or Integrated Workplace Management Solutions from traditional CMMS or maintenance-only solutions, is that ability to be able to have a very powerful bidirectional integration with AutoCAD and Revit. FM Systems is the preferred industry provider for facilities management tools and BIM for Autodesk. So we're very proud of the integration that we've got with those products. And those drawings are also integrated across all of the products in our portfolio, including space and asset management, sustainability, sustainability, project management, lease administration, everything you need to do to operate your entire facilities portfolio. The next thing I wanted to talk about is configuration. So our product is highly configurable, and I want to be very clear that it's absolutely industry-leading configurability. We can teach you to do this, or we can do the configurability yourself. It is all completed in the web browser. A lot of our competitors in the marketplace say they can do configurability because they can do things like add a field to a form, add a drop-down box. We can teach you the configuration that you're seeing in this example right here. Rob, or someone like Rob, somebody who's been trained to do this configuration, can actually do this in 15 or 20 minutes. Set up new forms, set up new tabs, conditional fields on those displays, really highly configure the software without the need to do any software development at all, which means you can get up and running quickly, and you can adapt the software to your processes over time, and we can teach you how to do that. So as I was saying earlier, our maintenance module is actually part of our FM Interact Integrated Workplace Management Suite, which is a powerful web-based facility management tool set that helps organizations improve their space, occupancy, assets, moves, maintenance, leases, property management, sustainability, and more. It doesn't matter if your real estate or facilities portfolio is small or large. We've got customers locally and globally, people who have 100 million square feet all the way down to a couple 100,000 square feet and everything in between. So FM Interact can help you manage today's highly dynamic facilities environments. And that's all I'm going to do. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually hand the screen over and the controls over to Rob Noren, who's going to go through a demonstration of how to use the FM Interact maintenance management tools. Rob, over to you. Rob, I want to make sure your audio is on. I'm not hearing you. Alicia, do you have Rob on the line? I just want to make sure he's on here.
Yep. Sorry, Brian.
Oh,
I hit the hang up button instead of unmute.
No problem, Rob. I thought I was going to have to jump in and do a demonstration. Go for it.
No, I'm good to go. Are you able to see my screen?
I am.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Again, my name is Rob. I have very vested interest in facilities maintenance. I started as a facility supervisor at Accenture about 15 years ago, and we've come a long way in the software. So I'm going to show you our out-of-the-box solution and how we handle or start to handle facilities maintenance. As Brian mentioned, it's completely configurable. So of course, this is our standard, but you can change it, or we can change it for you to reflect how you want to see things. So that being said, I'm going to start with a basic user. Right now I'm looking at an advanced user, so I'm going to switch over to Lauren Christie. So the idea here is that I'm just anybody out on the floor in the company. I have some sort of issue, and I'm going to submit a request for this. So you notice that as a general user, my screen looks very different. Very simple. I have a couple buttons here. I can check the status of an existing request, satisfaction survey, but in this case, I'm just going to do a new service request. Now, of course, depending on who you are, who you're logged in as, what your role is in the system, you might even see a different form. This is pretty basic. A couple questions here, and one thing. The first thing we see here, is this a health, safety, or security issue? If I select yes, the first thing it's going to tell me is that, well, you should be dialing 911, not going to FM Interact. But if you do, we're going to treat it differently. It might be routed to different people. We might contact law or emergency professionals. Okay, just to show you kind of how this can be a dynamic form. It changes the fields, what's required, how it's routed. In this case, my or Lauren's case of being too hot is not an emergency. So right away, it recognizes who I am, what my default or assigned location is. Of course, I could change this using a map, a floor plan to actually pick, a conference room I might be in, or if I'm in a different building. We'll say this is really just an issue of my being too hot in my office. So I'm able to select my category. Again, all of these fields are determined by the values you'd want to use. Again, these are just what we have as part of our default values. The next will be the activity. So my category will drive the second drop down. We'll say, okay, too hot here, and maybe add a note. Right, whatever it might be. I do have the ability to upload documents or images, add in a date if there's a requirement for that. If this was from an iPhone, I could say, add a photo. It asks me, do you want to take an existing or take a new photo or, add an existing. So this full functionality is available in the mobile version as well. From here, looks pretty good. I can go ahead and submit. Now, when I do that, depending on all of the information in this form, who I am, potentially my department, what category and activity, location, even my title could affect the workflow or who this is directed to differently. And that can also apply to the automated notifications that are sent out. Okay, so in this case, we'll say that Lauren Christie, who just submitted this request, has received a notification just letting her know that we've got that. Okay. Now, the person responsible for fielding these requests in that location for that type of request has also been notified that a new request has come in. So I'm going to switch back over to my advanced user, and we'll take a look, and I'll start with my overall dashboard. So Brian mentioned dashboards, and this is one example of kind of that supervisor high-level view of what's going on. These are configurable, meaning that I'm able to drag and drop different reports, views, functions, maps into my own page, make it my default. So this might be what I see when I log in every day. Okay, so being able to get an overall glance at, okay, how many or what types of requests are we completing? What's the cost around that? Cost per square foot? How efficient are we as far as response time? And how long is it taking us to complete? We have our benchmarks here. Where can we improve? A lot of places we're able to drill down into this and see, well, I just received this notification that Lauren Christie is having some trouble, and I'm looking at, who might be available from my technicians here. I noticed that Doug Hod has a lot of open requests, so, able to drill down and find out what's going on with Doug. Well, okay, I see the reason he has so many open is because it's taken him, 1,000 hours to complete requests on average. Right? Obviously sample data, but it's given us those real-time statistics. Then also being able to see, okay, why is this? Maybe there's some details he's put in here. Maybe he's just incredibly inefficient. But we track a lot of the information in the background. Okay. For this, I'll go ahead and address Lauren's request here. I'll switch over to my supervisor view. So this is what we call a data view. Very, very powerful. We notice that the first thing I see, first item, is Lauren Christie's request. And you can see she's kind of a pain. She's often too hot, but we'll help her out this time. This view is color-coded by status. Again, another configuration. It could be by priority or a combination of both. We'll see, okay, we may take a look and see where she's located. Maybe drill down in, get her information, give her a call, say, Lauren, you've had a couple of these, what's going on? But in this case, you know what, we'll just go ahead and dispatch this. Obviously, Doug probably is not going to be able to handle this since, he's had quite a bit open, but, maybe I'll send him a reminder. I'll go ahead and dispatch this to him anyway here. Okay, so now, again, what's happening is that once I'm adding him to this, once I submit this to Doug, it's going to be routed to him and it's going to end up in his inbox. So I may even add this or bring this up and say, you know what, we're going to change this to open. You really need to take control of this. Okay. So once he's assigned a request, it is directed to him. He's able to log in, and you notice that Doug here has a completely different screen. His home page is just comprised of the items that he has open. Okay, so we're able to see, all right, go ahead and do this. Lauren Christie, too hot, very good. may come in here and say, all right, well, we'll just go ahead and close this out. Now it's asking me, if I want to put in my hours or any additional cost, which the technicians can do. They don't necessarily have to because we actually timestamp all these things anyway. Okay. So as the end user, of course, she's being notified, but let her know that Doug's completed this request, but she can always go back and check the status of her open request that she submitted at any time as well. Okay. So that's just a very quick overview of a simple temperature request. It's really designed to be very quick and easy to assign people, to notify who's ever involved, and get these things completed quickly, and also understanding how we can be more efficient. So the next part of this, I'm going to take a look at a bit more of an advanced request here. So in this case, Rosalind Gray has submitted a request. She says there's a plumbing leak. We'll take a look. And in this case, I've already dispatched this to a couple technicians. We have some details. We know where this is. She's taken a picture with her iPhone and uploaded it on that form from a mobile device, perhaps, showing that we have a leak. Now, in this case, through some investigation, we discovered that this was actually tied to a piece of building equipment, and that's why we're having this problem. Okay, so I or the technician has associated that piece of equipment with this request. So whether I'm the supervisor or the technician out in the field in an iPad, I'm able to reference this information. So once I click through this piece of building equipment, I'm able to see some of the basic details, where exactly it's located, warranty information, parts that may have been recently ordered, but more importantly, some of the details around service history. So has anybody else had trouble with this? Is this tied to any other service requests, other reactive requests that have been completed? And then moving on down the line, preventative maintenance. Maybe this was a case where somebody was performing a PM that wasn't done properly. I can drill down even further to see, well, okay, that makes sense. Doug Hogg was doing it. There's a good chance that he made a mistake, and that's why we're having problems. And we can start to see the preventive maintenance piece tie into this as well, right? What parts are used for that PM, what the frequency is, the last time and the next time it's going to be up for another round. And then, of course, having access to PM task guide and also the preventative maintenance history. So different than that reactive maintenance, but having that all in one place. And then, of course, if I'm sitting in front of this piece of equipment, being able to reference a photo, but also having access to that user guide directly from here. So in the past, where we might have to go back to our desk, Google the manual, call the vendor or the manufacturer. Now we're able to access all of that information directly from here or a mobile device, very, very, very quickly. Okay. So, and that was very fast and a quick overview of those kind of basic requests. So I'll pause for any questions here.
Robert, I've answered a couple of the questions in the question pane. Example, is this a separate module from the space management module, or can it be incorporated into the standard FM product? So my response to that was that it's a separate module from our space management module. All of our customers have our space and asset management modules, and then they add the maintenance module once they have all of their space and assets into the inventory.
That is correct. Now, that brings me to one thing I'll point out very quickly is our modules talk very well with each other. So this is now in space management, but from a facilities point of view, we have some very key functionality right from the floor plan, such as open work orders. So if I am out there on the floor changing a light bulb, I might pull this up to see if there's anything else I could take care of. So again, trying to be more efficient. This happens to be highlighted by priority, but it could also be by type of request, outstanding outstanding or overdue items. And then another part of that might be referencing, say, a mechanical plan. So again, I might be out fielding an issue, being able to have access to all of these different drawing components and even tracing it back on a 2D form and highlighting my mechanical rooms, right, and seeing how or what pieces of equipment are located in that room.
Yeah, Rob, I think that's a huge differentiator between this and what a typical CMMS would provide, because our space capabilities are available to all of our customers. It really is a powerful ability to be able to graphically and visually locate not only where the problem is, but the conditions and what it's in. So the mechanical plans, the electrical plans, all of that information potentially available. We do have some questions in the queue. Let me just go ahead and run down through these, Rob. Can the work order be assigned to a tech automatically based upon the task?
Yes, and that's a very common thing we hear. So yeah, absolutely, we could configure it so we know that if in building one, Brian Haynes is always the guy that's going to, change out light bulbs or, field the temperature requests. Instead of having the supervisor having to go in there for each one and assign it, we can just automatically send it to him and have that in its box or in its queue. So yeah, absolutely.
Next question, is your asset management data templates compatible with COBie?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, there's a couple of ways around that. We do have a straight COBie import and export, of course, through the application. Definitely compatible and compliant. Be able to spit out reports and also pulling a lot of that information directly from, say, a Revit model, which is very typical these days as well.
And we are members of the Building Smart Alliance. We have completed the COBie challenge a number of times, and our software is COBie compatible certified by the Building Smart Alliance. I just wanted to point that out. The next question, are the manuals available in FM systems because it was obtained by BIM, or is it because they were manually copied into the database?
Yes, it would be the answer. So you can manually upload these. The ideal situation is, yeah, we have that Revit model, we have all that information, we have the documents, and we know what piece of equipment they go into, so we can automate that process. So you're not having to, add these in one at a time. So we can definitely, go through a couple different ways, but automate the process of adding in those documents.
Question here: can the work order be sent to third-party contractors? People who are
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. It can really be sent to anyone you want based on any condition. There's also, and just to touch on a little bit of that, the potential for an escalation. So if it does go to an outside vendor, if they don't acknowledge it or complete it within a certain time, then maybe the supervisor or manager for that location is notified when it's about to be overdue, when it is overdue, and then maybe if it's a week late, then we dismiss the vendor altogether. So all of those types of notifications and routing can be worked in.
Next question: up to how many people can receive a work order notification?
If there's a limit, I have never seen it. So unlimited, and they can all receive different types of notifications, including different details.
Question, do you guys have some sort of visitor module where we can check the vendors in and out?
Yeah, and there's a couple ways to go about that. So we have what's called an anonymous user, meaning that they're never authenticated in the system. We don't know who they are. That has some downsides because we can't track, who exactly it is. But it could be, that just basic user. It could just be, logging in as a vendor, and they would be grouped in together, but still have very limited functionality, but be able to do what they need to do.
I'll take this next question. How much training is required? So FM Interact, the entire application has been listed by Gartner numerous times as being really the easiest, most intuitive product on the market. For basic users, people who simply need to enter service requests, it's literally just pulling up a form via web link and filling that out, not much training required. And that goes all the way up to being able to actually configure the interface. We do offer training courses via distance learning or at our user conference. Typically, the basic maintenance supervisory course would be probably less than a day to be able to do most of the stuff that Rob just demonstrated to you. We also have excellent documentation that goes along with that. We're proud of our training materials, the classes that we provide via distance learning, and through organizations such as IFMA. We do a lot of presentations that shows things, so we're out there a lot. Next question, over 500 people in our building, can each of them send a work order without having to have a license? So
yes.
The service, yeah, absolutely. I was just going to go ahead and answer that, Rob. So for all of your employees within the organization who need to enter service requests, yeah, absolutely. We don't require a separate license. We only require you to have what we call a power user license for the supervisors and the technicians, and we could certainly talk more about that offline. Let's go to the next one. Do any and all updates and work orders get sent via email or just stay in work order until we go into it and check for updates? You want to handle that
Okay,
one, Rob?
sure. So there's a couple parts of that. We can automate notifications in either an email format or text message. Those emails can be configured with all of the different details around the request and what's related to you. They can also include a dynamic hyperlink. And what that means is if I receive an email or a text and I click through that, link, hyperlink, it would actually bring me directly into the record that it's referring to. That eliminates the need to have to navigate through the application, to sign in and all that good stuff. Now, there's another way to look at that would be, say, Doug Hott here. His homepage is, a running list of all the things he's been assigned. We do an automatic refresh, so he could just have this up on his PC or iPad, and then, just refer to it, and, it'd be refreshing with all the tasks he's being assigned. So you don't necessarily have to rely just on those email notifications. It could be that you have this as a home page or part of a dashboard too.
Okay, we've got a number of questions in the queue. If we don't get to your question, we are going to put all of these into a response and send them out. So if you don't hear an answer to your question, we're not ignoring you. We just want to make sure that we end on time to respect everyone's time. So we'll just go ahead and handle a couple more of these, and then we'll go ahead and close the webcast. Let's see. How easy is it to set up a scheduled PM that will be required to be performed, let's say, every 6 months?
Sure. So if we take a look at, and it's very easy, it's just about as easy as dispatching or adding in a new request. If we look at, say, our preventative maintenance here, and take a look and see what that looks like. Now, we do have a form, and these are all red because I've not been keeping up with my PMs. They're all overdue. I only have so much time in the day. But when we look at this, these are all of our preventative maintenance tasks. Notice that as that power user, advanced user, I have the add button. Now, this could be a simple form, but we could do it right from here, right? Being able to click on this. Again, some of these fields can be automated, like the PM ID, let's say, whatever this might be. Task. So giving it a location, maybe last performed by. Cycle time is going to be, say, 4 times per year. It could be once a day, once a week. Next date. So, all right, go ahead and do that. Next notice date. So when do we actually want to be aware of this? When do we want to be prompted to address this, right? And then also, is there a specific activity around this? Is it going to be, flight safety? This could be used to drive different reports. Is it tied to a specific piece of equipment, typical time required, which also can be automated, as well as cost, right? Very expensive PM. So that's our
basic really robust
details.
Library.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, robust library already out of the box there in terms of all of those drop-down values, et cetera, which are highly configurable, as we were saying earlier, so they can all be adjusted as well. So let's take one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll get to those that we didn't get to. Does each user have their own login, or is there a user login for them to submit a work order?
Okay, so we support our internal security, which is what I'm using right now, which basically means I have a username and password. We also have a single sign-on, through, say, Windows, authentication, LDAP, and SAML. So we're pretty flexible in that. We can also access Windows groups so that when I go to the site, it knows who I am, what my role is in the company based on Windows, and it knows what to show me. Otherwise, you can give individual users their own login information where they would type in the username and password. There could also be that generic username and password for general users. So those are all the different options we work with.
All right, let's just take this one real quick. In order for FM systems to load in HR data, what sort of database does the HR data have to be in? Are there any restrictions there?
Not really any restrictions. Typically with HR, we're talking about a PeopleSoft, an Oracle, Windows directory, something like that. Every typical or enterprise solution for HR is typically, we usually allows you to get data out in a fairly standard format. The most common thing might be a PeopleSoft export. Every night they send out a file with all of the employees' IDs, their name, their email, so on and so forth, whatever attributes you want to track. We take that into a staging table, compare it against our live table so we know who's updated, who's new, who's terminated. So we really aren't that restrictive. We can also do it through a web service or even a direct SQL connection. So as long as we can get data out, get data out in a pretty standard format, there's really not a lot of restriction there.
That's great, Rob. And I'll just take this last one. Are there certain types of drawings that are required to work with FM systems? So we have plugins to AutoCAD or Revit. We do focus on Autodesk products. So we've got really phenomenal integration, bidirectional integration with both AutoCAD and Revit. When you purchase FM Interact, you get a plugin that goes into those that allow you to bidirectionally synchronize your drawings to the database. And what I mean is if you change the drawing, if you update information, a room tag, et cetera, it automatically updates in FM Interact. If you change a department or whatever you have mapped back to your AutoCAD drawings or Revit, it's going to go back based upon security, of course, and whether or not it's connected bidirectionally. But we do integrate with both of those. So, Leisha, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up now. We've gone over time. There's a few questions in the queue. I'm going to sit down with Rob. We'll go ahead and formulate responses and get back to those individuals who've asked those questions directly. So, over to you.
Great. Thank you both to Brian and Rob. And thank you for everyone taking time out of your day-to-day to attend today's webinar. We will be sending out the link to the recording afterwards, as well as the answers to your questions. So thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great day.